Hi African Queen Mo channel subscribers, viewers and friends. I see that we are very few of us and I wonder why. How come? Is it that you're not sharing my videos or what? Or is it that YouTube is not showing my videos? Why do I have only like 50 views, 40 views? Can it be that bad? Okay guys, let's keep trying. You know, we never give up. We never give up. When you're an entrepreneur, you keep on working hard until somebody notices you. They say, pray until something happens. Well, today is just a different day altogether. It is sunny and beautiful. Absolutely amazing. I'm heading out today. I've received a phone call from one of the leads that I have for a client. And I'm going to go see a client, a potential client, to go and understand what the work is, etc. Yeah, so it's wonderful. I just thank God for these opportunities, guys. I really thank God, you know. And for yourselves who are looking for work, do not give up. Keep your dreams alive. There were times that I never thought that I would ever, you know, be able to do business in the UK. I didn't think I was going to be able to do that because I am so concerned about the risks of doing business here. You know, there's so many doors that are closed. You know, they always say, no, you can't, no, you can't. It's a kind of negative society compared to the US. I hate to say it because I know there are people from the UK watching, but generally this society is not pro-entrepreneurship. But I'll tell you, Wales is a little bit different. Wales is definitely different from England. And they say that they're two different countries, and for sure they're different countries, for sure. In their attitudes and everything. Yeah, and I forgot to put on my GPS to show to where I'm going. Oh my God. I'm busy chatting and I'm not putting on my GPS. That's crazy. How will I know where I'm going? I have probably a little bit of a clue about where to go. Yeah, I'm going in the right direction anyway. So, enjoy the view. It is so sunny. Today I want to tell you a little bit of a story about my life experience in America. In America, I went there as a student back in the 80s. It's been a long time since I was there. So of course things have changed. They're no longer quite the same in the US. But when I went there in the 80s, in the late 80s, I went to do my undergraduate degree. Then I became a single parent there and had my child in America, and then decided to come back home for, you know, just to look after him for some time, and then went back for my master's degree and left him at home when he was only a year and about how many months? About a year and 8 months. He was before he was 2 years old. I had to leave him in Kenya because very difficult at that time to get any support with childcare as a single parent. And I still had dreams, and I had a friend who kept reminding me, hey Mo, remember that we're doing our master's degree. So I had a Kenyan friend who was a true friend, and she reminded me, okay, you've had the baby, that's wonderful, we celebrated him and everything, but just remember, we are doing our master's degree. Yeah, so basically that's what I did. I went back to the US, and I left my son, who was horribly spoiled in Kenya, with my parents, my mother and my father. Of course, you know, mother being the one who is completely attached, you know, mostly attached to this grandchild. In Kikuyu, we have a saying for these grandkids. They say, kamuhuko. Kamuhuko, my little pocket. So I left my little pocket with my mom, and my mom was extremely ecstatic about having this child with her. So this child we shared with my mother, yeah, and father. Yeah, so basically the parents were so happy, you know, to look after him. Dad took a little bit of a while maybe to warm up, you know, to the whole idea of looking after kids again, you know. I think I'm even going around. Yes, guys. So basically, when I was in America, so basically I left my son with my parents when I was in the US. It looks to me like, yeah, okay. lane. And then what? It looks like I'm just like 3 minutes to my destination. It's so close to my home. It's crazy. So close. So close. Oh, beautiful, isn't it? Look at this place. It's gorgeous.
In a quarter of a mile, turn right.
Okay, I think this was a more direct route anyway. Yeah. Sometimes these GPRSs, they like to take you through a lot of things. Can you see how beautiful it is, guys? How beautiful it is. Gorgeous. Now you know why. Let's get off topic a little bit. Now you know why the British love Kenya, because it's so similar to this place. Yeah, like Wales looks a lot like this place, like Kenya. Kenya is so green, just like here, and sunny sometimes. One of the lovely things about my new job is that I get to see so many new places. Yeah. So let me pay attention a little bit. You just enjoy the drive, and then I'll talk to you on my way back, because another beautiful place. Johnston Road.
In a quarter of a mile, your destination will be on the right.
Just look at this beautiful place, people. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. Doesn't this look so much like Kenya? It's amazing. I've been going to the most beautiful places. Now, the problem is a car. Okay, I was hoping anyway that he would stop, but he didn't. Okay. Anyway, it's okay. These roads are so narrow that you cannot fit two cars at the same time. One of them has to stop on the side. So you have to be a gentle lady or gentleman. Oh yeah, so this is where I'm coming now. So the house is 1 minute. It must be this beautiful compound I'm seeing here. No, it's not this one. It must be the next one then. Ah, yeah, it is. I think I have arrived. Yep, I think this is it. Where do I park? Okay, it's not going to be easy for me because I have to find a way to park. I think I'm going to go forward and then come back. I'll try and see if I can turn around somewhere. This place is so beautiful. Oh my god. I'm falling in love with Wales. It's so beautiful, guys. Wow. This place is beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yes. Love it. When I lived in America, one of the things is that everything is so far away from everything. That's one of the issues with America and Australia. Those two countries. You know? But here, everything is kind of near. Enjoy the drive, guys. I hope you're enjoying it the way I am. Yes. Beautiful place. So let me call my client, and then after that I'll talk to you when I'm done, yeah? Okay. Sawa, guys. Tumefika. Sounds like really nice people here. So let me talk to you in a bit, yeah, when I'm done. Let me go see what the job is all about, then I'll come back, okay? All right. Okay, guys, I saw the place and it was amazing. Okay, guys, let's continue with our discussion. I've been where I went and I've seen what I wanted to see, and that was just amazing. Yeah, guys, so basically what I was telling you is that I was living in America, and I went to America when I was about, how old was I when I went to the States? I was 21 when I went to the States, and I got my degree, my first degree, and then I came back with my child, and then went back and got my second degree, yeah? To the same university, by the way, University of Minnesota. You've heard about University of Minnesota. Yeah, guys, that's where I was. Beautiful, beautiful place. Lovely people. Lovely people. I was very happy to be in Minnesota, because the people in Minnesota those days were wonderful, and I'm sure even now they're good. The university itself was good, but I do remember that I had a difficult time initially adapting and adjusting to the place because, of course, of the climate. It was cold and all that. But from that, there was also the issue of loneliness. I felt a little bit lonely. But anyway, in the end, okay, so basically I hope you enjoy my ride with me. Yeah, we're still here in Wales, Cardiff, lovely place. And by the way, those of you who have subscribed to my channel, welcome and thank you. And those of you who've been there for a while, thank you. If you want to find me more easily, by the way, guys, the easiest way to find me is look for African Queen Mo Cardiff. It's very difficult to see me, you know, or to find me. I checked and I saw that it's quite difficult, actually. I don't know why.
Turn right on.
Yeah, so I want to go and see if I can get hubby some pineapple and ginger because he's not feeling very well. And it started to rain now. That's so weird. I was warned not to get too excited. So anyway, back to my issues about living in America and you know what America was like compared to living in the UK. So for those of you, there's a lot of people who are planning to leave and relocate probably back to the States. Relocate to the States, either back or just to relocate to the States. And I really don't blame you people, you know, because the US is a good country. It's a lovely country to live in. I lived there, I enjoyed it. My son lives there right now. Good country, you know, good place to be. But I also wanted maybe to also contribute to this discussion because I was there for almost 10 years and because I've raised a child and in Kenya and also in the States, and he did go to school there now. He's living there now, and I also have a niece who's also there, also lived in the US and then came back to Kenya, then went back to the US. So they're all there. So I think I have one or two experiences that might be of use for you, or maybe some suggestions, or my views might be something that I might want to share. But my views would be, number one, a student. Let's say number one, a student. First student, no children. And then my second view would be that of trying to adapt as a single mom in the US. So let's talk about university education in the US. University education in the US, I believe, is second to none. Literally. In those days anyway, it was second to none. I think it probably is still the same now. And the main reason is because the US benefits from a lot of migrants, knowledge from migrants, and a huge budget for education from the federal government. The federal government of the US supports education seriously. And so they have and then they have these very big universities. Like I went to what they call a land grant university, University of Minnesota. The land grant universities are funded both by the government and by the states. So you see, they have a lot of money for research. And most universities that focus on research are good universities. So when you're going to look for a university, if you're looking for one, I would suggest that you look for a university that is focused on research, that actually, you know, has funding for research. And we are back, guys, to Tesco. We are back to Tesco. Yeah. Hi guys, hope you're doing good. So today we're talking about, you know, going to the US as a student, and I would say if you have the funding, definitely go for it. But there are ways that you can try to reduce your costs of university education in the States, and one of them is by finding a sponsor, somebody who can sponsor you to go. And if you can't find somebody to sponsor you, you can also try and find somebody to sponsor you just with housing, you know. At least there are people who hire people like au pairs and people who can help in the house and things like that. There are people who give accommodation to international students, although it's not that common. So one of the best ways to go to the States is to identify a university that is affordable. Yeah. So let me first of all go and buy what I'm buying, and then I'll come back. Okay. Hi guys, I'm actually back again on the road after dropping by the shop to pick something for my hubby. He's not feeling very well. He has a cold, so I had to go and get him his favorite things, pineapple, ginger, and things like that, which he boils. And I tell you, that stuff, he swears by it. I believe it's true. It works very well. So you guys, you know, we were talking about, you know, going to relocate to a different country. If any of you guys are planning to relocate, you know, like the US to go to school, for example, we'll talk about going to school. My experience with going to school in America was very, very good. Very, very good. I really enjoyed going to school. I enjoyed the classes. I enjoyed the professors, and everything. But of course, like I told you, there was issues with loneliness. There was issues also with cost. The cost, it was quite expensive, you know, to pay for my education. My education, I remember my degree cost something like $19,000 a year. In those days, I was doing a Bachelor of Science degree and it was quite expensive. I do remember experiencing some sort of stress, you know, trying to pay my school fees. I remember my poor father, he had to sell some land to take me to school in America. But if I knew better, what I probably could have done was go into a community college first and pay much, much, much less before heading over to a full university, because university is very expensive and community colleges are just about like a third the cost, okay, of that fee. So this time you're not going to have to hear my GPS, because I know exactly where I'm going. The weather has changed dramatically, by the way, guys. You're going to see it is so terrible outside here. Ooh, guys, it's raining. I can't believe it's the same morning. Happy was telling me what weather is in Welsh and Welsh weather. It even has a name. It's unpredictable. 1 minute it's sunny, the next minute it's raining like cats and dogs. But let me show you. So I know you like. That's it, guys. It is so wet and raining. Yeah, that's it right there. Can you believe this is the same day when I was showing you sunny weather and beautiful places? Yeah, it's really, really, really raining crazy. So anyway, going to school in America was expensive. It was lonely, and it was a very good experience at the same time. I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. I loved going to school in the States. It was great. It was the best decision of my life. But it was expensive and it was lonely. And nobody should cheat you that it's easy. Nobody should, you know, try and even make you imagine that it's going to be an easy thing, you know, to go to school. In America, it is very, very, very expensive. Extremely. I'm going to let people go because sometimes you see people who are driving very fast, and I try to stay away from them because a lot of people are in a hurry here. They have what they're doing, everything goes according to time. So if you want to drive slowly at the speed limit, you're still going to end up in trouble. Because I'm driving at 20, which is the speed limit here, and people want to drive at much higher. So I'm in a place here called Adamstown and Splot, and it's kind of like towards the city center. So anyway, guys, yeah, like I was saying, like going to school in America, good, yes, but I had to supplement my education. Whatever my parents were sending me, I had to supplement it. I had to do babysitting, and at the same time I was also working. On the weekends I would go to work in the hospital, at the University of Minnesota Hospital. I was in the nutrition department because I had a background in nutrition, and I was actually studying nutrition also as part of my degree program. So I was helping to prepare tube feeding and oral feeding formulas for the University of Minnesota Hospital's Mayo Hospital at the University of Minnesota. So I know how to prepare tube feeding formulas based on all the different mixtures that there are out there, Ensure, all these other mixes, you know, vitamin D's and vitamins, mixing them up for babies and for adults, people who are using tubes. You see those bottles that are attached to their, you know, to their drips from dietitians, and it's prepared with the help of people like me, a student. I'm just given the recipe and I just do it. Hey guy, you can see the way people are jumping onto the road. No road courtesy here today. What's happening? Everybody's in a hurry. They want to go wherever they're going. Oh, I know the reason is because at this time, this is the time when people are picking children from school. So it can be rather crazy. Just like in Kenya, over here, when school is in, there's a lot of traffic. lots of bumps, I told you guys. So basically, it was expensive. Yeah, and that's one thing I remember. It was very expensive, but it was really worth it, because as soon as I came back to Kenya, I was able to get a job. I really was. So I cannot complain about going to school in America. It was a good decision. But nobody should cheat you that it's cheap. And nobody should cheat you that it's easy. It's very hard, and it will take a lot out of you. The one thing it took from me was a lot of, can I say joy? I wasn't really happy, yeah, going to school in America. Sometimes I used to think, what am I doing here, you know? I miss home. You miss everything. You miss people, you miss the food. I remember always feeling hungry, because the food that you eat over there, the quality of the nutrition abroad in those countries is so poor compared to the nutrition that we have in Africa, that when you eat, even if, you know, us guys were used to eating things like potatoes and things like that, you know, we used to eating things like potatoes. You see, I keep on moving so that people can go, because when I get tired being chased down the road. Yeah, so potatoes, and yeah, we used to eat potatoes and cabbage and carrots and healthy food. My mom used to always make sure that we had very healthy food growing up as a teenager. You have a bit of meat, not that much meat even. But when you go to America, what happens? You find that everybody's eating stupid things like pizza, or they're only eating one cooked meal a day, which is crazy. Maybe one cooked meal, not even a day, one cooked meal a week. So on Sundays is when my host mother, because I was in a host family, that is when my host mother had the time to make something like, you know, Chinese fried rice. She was a very good cook, but she didn't have the time to cook. So me, I would be in school, I'd have to eat from the vending machines. My friend, I remember, my friend and I, we used to look for something that looks like real food. So we'd eat things like some sort of sandwich that was made with some 3 little meatballs. And I would always get 2 of those sandwiches. She would only get 1, but I would always get 2 because it's not enough. They're tiny. They were actually quite tiny. And it was not an easy transition at all. So diet-wise, I'm suffering. I ended up eating a lot of chocolate bars. You find yourself always on Snickers bars because you're always hungry. Always hungry. Remember, you're just coming out of your teenage days, 19, whatever, and then you land there and there's no time to eat a proper meal. That was the hardest thing, because I also was not living at the university. I wasn't in the dorms, so I wouldn't eat dorm food. I'd have to find a way to prepare my food. So eventually, when I went to live on my own, one of the reasons I went to live on my own was because at my host parents' place, it wasn't really possible to cook a meal all the time. Yeah, it wasn't possible to cook a meal all the time because it wasn't part of theirs. That's not what they do. They just don't. They'll eat a sandwich and that's enough. So I find myself always hungry. I just do remember always never feeling like I had enough to eat, and whatever I was eating, my body was not registering that as food. So that was the hardest thing, the transition in terms of the diet. So eventually, when I moved out and I went to live on my own, that is when I started cooking properly, and I learned to use the oven, and I would cook most of my food in the oven, sorry. And usually I just put potatoes. A friend of mine taught me how to just take everything, potatoes, chicken, vegetables, like peppers and onions and carrots and everything, just throw them into the oven and cover them with foil paper and wait. It made a very nice meal. You'd feel like you've eaten something substantial, and after that I felt like I started to get my strength back because I was now eating properly. You never know how important diet is. It's extremely important, by the way, guys. Extremely important to eat a healthy diet. Even in this particular country here in the UK. Very important. Yeah. And that is what I was lacking. Proper nutrition. Can you see the way it's raining here, guys? What? So those are the kinds of struggles that you're going to have, guys. When you travel to another country, remember that you must have a proper budget to make sure that you can eat well. Because if you're not eating healthy and you're not eating regularly, I'm telling you, your body will suffer, and your mind too. You won't be able to function. So if you're leaving the country and you have no idea how to cook for yourself, you're in trouble. I used to see people in the US who had never cooked a day in their lives, especially men. have girlfriends, and the reason they have the girlfriends is just so that they can cook for them, because they don't know how to cook, and the boys would do anything for the girls to cook for them. They'll do anything, and they'll be mistreated by these chicks, and many of them, at least in my time, they could cook, majority of them. But still, there were some who could not. They only knew how to fry an egg. So you go back there, you don't even know nothing. Okay, second thing is, when I had my son, I realized I was all alone, and there was nobody else to rely on in terms of time to look after this child. So what happened? It became like my sole responsibility to look after this child, to the point where I was starting to get a little bit depressed. I would even cry. I'd say, God, I'd look at this child and I'd say, God, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't even be able to breathe. Child, I look at the kid and I say, so even breathing is all up to me. Eating, breathing, going to the toilet, everything is on me as the mother. It was a really, really big wake-up call. And that is when I decided, no, this is too much. I need to go back home. And after my undergraduate degree, I need to go back home and take my child to my mom, and maybe just go back home and just relocate for a while. And that's when I went back home. And then after about a year, I came back when my son was a year and 8 months. Yeah, because I went when he was about 6 months, 5, 6 months. And then I came back when he was like about a year and 8 months. So really I spent like about, a year in Kenya. And then I came back. Because my mother was determined that I should not lack the opportunities that she lacked to go to school. Our mothers really wanted us to study hard. And so I did not disappoint. I came back and I continued to study, and I did my master's degree, but I really miss my son so terribly. I tell you, a lot of women, especially single mothers, they get the flack for leaving their children at home. But people don't realize, especially married couples, many married couples don't realize that you have to make a choice. You have to make a choice. I made a choice to invest in my son's future so that, okay, maybe I wouldn't see him for 1 or 2 years, but the most important thing is that with this degree, it means that my earning potential was going to be higher, and he would be happy. I would be able to give him a better quality of life. And I'm telling you, that is exactly what happened. Yes, my earning potential increased because of my degree, and I gave him the best quality of life. My son went to all international schools, and it was me who paid for it. Yes, he went to all the expensive international schools. And why did I choose international schools? Because he had come from the US system. At some point during my master's, during the time I had practical training, I came to collect him in Kenya. And no, actually he was delivered by my mom and my brother to the US when he was 4 years old. So imagine, I left him at 1 year, 8 months, and the last time I saw him was on his birthday at 4 years. So when he came, this child, really enjoyed the school system. He had a good time. He was coming from the regular school system in Kenya, which was really hard. And then he came into a system where he really enjoyed it. And so going back again after my master's now to Kenya, after we'd stayed together like 2 years or 3 in America, going back, there was no way he was going to transition very easily into the Kenyan education system, 844. And so I decided he'll go through that education system just for a short time, but I'm going to work really hard to try to get him into the international school system. So there was me, Mo, on the go, African Queen Mo. I paid for my son's international education through my contracts that I had, because I decided to start a consultancy, and I started becoming a consultant, and my son's school fees was over $3,000 a term. So we're looking at like about over $1 million shillings a year for my son's school fees, from the time he was in standard 6 to the time he finished college. Yes, he was in Braeburn College by the time he was done, and before that he had been through all the schools: Braeburn, Brookside, Brookhouse, Braeburn, Hillcrest, all the expensive schools. Because you know what I told myself, guys, as a single mom? I told myself that my son is going to have an education just as if he had 2 parents, because I wasn't going to allow him to not have that opportunity. Having sacrificed so much for me to go to school, I said the one thing I'm going to do is make sure that he has the best of the best. So we lived in comfortable homes, he went to good schools, and I invested heavily in his education. And right now he's working in DC, and he works in IT in Washington DC, and I thank God because he's actually doing well. And just like everybody else who has struggles in life, everybody has struggles in life, but he's over 30 and he's a well-adjusted human being today. So here I am, like that's why I always tell you guys I'm on motherhood part 2. So for those single moms who want to take their children to with them, let's say you get your green card and you say, I've been hearing a lot of people say, you must take your children with you, don't leave your children behind. Look, it's an individual case by individual case. If there's a way, if you know that you can look after your child, if you know that you would be able to look after your child abroad immediately, do it. But I would say it's a huge risk to take. It's a huge risk. I would not, after what I learned from being a single mom in America, and at that time I had already been in school and I'd been through the system, it is one of the hardest things because it's difficult to work. Very hard to work, especially when the child is very young. When we say young, I'm talking about between 0 and about 3 years old. Between 0 and 3. Because America, you know, the schools over there will only accept children when they're over, I think, 3 or 4 years old. That's when they can start going to nursery school or whatever, kindergarten or whatever it is. And they only spend a few hours there. So what are you going to be doing? You're going to be at home looking after this child. You have rent to pay. Everything is on you. Mama and baba of that home. How are you going to be able to look after your child? How are you going to be able to look after your child and at the same time go to school or whatever it is? Maybe you're in school, you know. How are you going to do it? It's going to be very hard. Very, very hard. Me, these buses that come on these tiny roads, I always am amazed. Yeah. Let me turn this camera now so you can see me. Yes, guys, so here I am. I'm talking to single mothers today and single fathers. And parents generally anyway. Not just singles. It's parents generally. If you have children, even if you are a two-parent household, if you have children and you have an opportunity to go to America or to relocate to another country, if I were you, I would think twice about taking any child with you, any very young child with you, especially at the beginning. That's a risk that you can only take if you are 100% sure about what you're doing. Because to be very honest, it's very, very, very difficult to adjust in a new country with a child. It is difficult. So what I'm saying is that remember your child, yes, but you can also put them into, you know, into care. You can put your child into care. This is something that we have in the African extended family. Why not use it? Why not? I have a friend who relocated to Australia with her daughter, and her daughter had such a hard time adjusting that she actually had to bring her back to stay with her grandma. Yeah, because she got papers to relocate to Australia. But the child was so traumatized by the education system. Yeah, when she went to, I think she was maybe 9 or 10 years old when she relocated with her mom to Australia. And she had a really hard time, guys. She had a very, very, very hard time. Yeah. Adapting to this country. And the children were not very kind in class to her. So she came back. She told her mother she wants to come back home to Kenya. So her mother had to bring her back from Australia to Kenya. And she stayed with her grandmother, her mother's mother, that is, for quite some time. And now she's back. She's back with her mother. Her mother came back again for her. Yeah, so everything is according, there's no one size fits all. Some children adapt easily, others just don't adapt. Simple as that. Yeah. Some adapt, some don't adapt. Yeah. Let me let these people go. Yeah, so I'm being courteous on the road, guys. I'm letting people pass. Yeah, so all I can say is that there's no one size fits all. Do not try to take your child to America if you're not ready to face the consequences, okay, of staying at home without a job. Because America and those countries, you can be homeless in a minute. In a minute. Yes, you can be homeless, or you can be not housed adequately, inadequately housed, can we call it that? You might have to go and share, and you're sharing a house with somebody, and that time there you are, you have a child, and you don't know how your child is managing with this person that you're sharing a house with, yeah, or that person how they're managing with your child. So it's all a big risk, guys. It's just a huge risk. Yeah, so we're coming back home now, guys. We're back home. Yeah, so that's all I had to say to you people. You know, just whenever you get advice, they say always take it with a pinch of salt, because everybody's circumstances are different. Everybody has different circumstances. So I have a problem when people start trying to dictate. And the worst thing for single moms and single dads or even parents is to have a feeling of guilt for leaving your children. Sometimes you have to make sacrifices in life, and you're making a sacrifice for your child. You're investing in their future, and in order to invest in their future, sometimes it means that they'll have to be left in the care of a loving relative for a while you go there and make your nest. Go and create your nest. And in fact, this was even the idea of my own father and mother, who said, you know, you go and create a nest. Once you have created your home, then you can come back for your child. And to me, that is a responsible thing to do. It's a responsible thing to do, completely responsible thing to do. Yeah, guys. So we are home now, and thank you very much for your time with me. Munaona vile kunanyesha huko nje. My goodness, kunanyesha mvua we kurete guy. Raining and raining and raining and raining and raining. So anyway, thank you very much for your time. It's been a pleasure chatting with you. So yeah, that's it. That's what I feel. And by the way, I want to leave you guys who are planning to go to university with a story from a guy that I interviewed here in the UK. There's a young man that I interviewed when I went to take my husband to school. I found him studying and interrupted him. You know, typical style. So I want you to watch this interview. It would be a good way to end this video. We're talking about my own experience years and years ago, and now you can also listen to a young man's experience from Nigeria. Okay, he's here. He was in Nigeria before, and now he's here studying electrical, I believe, I don't know, it's aviation engineering or something like that. Anyway, you're going to hear the interview. Enjoy. Oh, yeah, it is a bit better, but it's still not there. Yeah. I'm not there, but I'll be there. Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there. Really? Hey guys, I am in the lounge waiting for my husband to finish his class. Just look at this beautiful lounge, guys. You want to come and study here in the UK? Come and study in Cardiff. Come and study. Look how colorful the chairs are. Ooh. And this is called it's actually the lounge. It's just a lounge. And there's nobody here except me and one student who's studying really hard. Very, very, very hard. A student from Africa who's studying really, really hard. And he's so young. He's only 21. So young, you guys. Don't give up on your education. Please remember to study. So guys, I am going to show you my new friend, and he's from Kenya. Actually, he's from Kenya. Oh no, he's from Nigeria. Oh my God, he's from Nigeria. But he's very young, so he's not really into countries right now. Yeah. All right, that's me. This is how I'm dressed. This is the outfit of the day. Nothing much actually. I just decided, instead of coming to drop my husband the way I always drop him, why don't I come and wait for him? Because you know, today we had snow. The snow vortex finally arrived. Can you believe it, guys? It finally arrived. And I went to pick up our little boy from school. The way it is snowing and the way it snowed, the kids were playing with their snowballs. It was just amazing. So, yes, I'm in the lounge now at the Cardiff and Vale College. So, why don't I introduce you to a student here, and he'll give you some tips on how to study, how to apply for college, and how to come to college in Cardiff. And yeah, what you can study and how much it costs and things like that. Yeah, how about that? So let us meet him, and then you'll come over. So this is 5. Yes.
Hi guys, good evening. My name is Faiz Mahi. I'm a student studying at Cardiff and Vale College. I'm currently undergoing my degree course in aircraft engineering.
Amazing. You should see the way he's full of books here. Guy,
Yeah.
what are those funny looking things I'm seeing? Are those... Let me see what you're writing over here.
My writing's not
He's
that good,
drawing
but
some things which
yeah.
are so complicated. Did you see
Yeah.
that complex stuff?
Yeah, basically, in simple terms, this is how electrical components work on the aircraft. How you're able to fly safely knowing that the electricity is working, or knowing how the aircraft's not going to move or topple over you. Just some basic stuff I'm reading right now for my exams tomorrow. Yeah, my study method is just read about the textbook context, then try to write summaries and draw diagrams in order to picture it better. That way I can remember it. But everyone has their own techniques. I advise just find what's good for you. Either write down notepads or write down some stickers. Anything helps.
Yeah.
To apply for Cardiff and Vale, it's there's a CAVC website. You just go onto it, create an account first. That way you can save certain courses you want to undergo.
Would you encourage your colleagues like back in like Nigeria to come here to college, or should they just remain there? And when you think about the cost versus the benefit,
Personally, yes, on a heartbeat. Like me, as long as everyone's just dedicated, has that drive to learn, and has that unshakable will to make sure they are aiming for their goals. Don't get distracted by peer pressure. Don't get sidelined by the things happening outside. Then I would advise 100% come here and try and get yourself a diploma or a degree, something to get you in a better position than you are right now.
yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Yeah.
The last question was the cost. Is it expensive to do a diploma here? How much does it cost? Like your program, for example.
When I did the diploma, forgive me for not remembering because I
Oh
was
yeah,
in
now
a
you're doing a
certain-
degree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was in a certain condition. It was doing it with my yeah. Now I remember why. Because I came fresh from high school, so I was more of like a lesser citizen. I don't like to use that sum, but that was it. So
Yes.
typically the diploma would have been £300 or something, but it only costed me £30.
£30.
Yeah, when I did it. So I think
30
Yes.
for a foreigner.
Yes. Like I
How
said.
long was the diploma?
The level 2 was for 1 year, and the level 3, both the first year and the second year, was for each of them was £30. So I spent £90 was just a diploma on my belt.
You want me to die?
Yeah, but my condition was special, like I said.
Okay.
I think mainly because I was a foreigner, but not the type that came straight from my country, but under my dad's belt and did high school here.
Ah,
So
I see.
conditions may differ from people to people.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a mate that he's from France. That he came and did the diploma, but like I said, just try to see what conditions fit for you and try your best.
So if you come here and finish high school, or you do your high school certificate here, then you'll get a cheaper, you do it for cheaper.
Hopefully
probably.
that will be the
Perhaps,
case.
yeah, it happens by the way, like residents. But generally, I don't think it be that much more expensive.
Yeah,
Diplomas
it's
must be much cheaper than
no,
degrees.
diploma are much cheaper. On my degree right now, I feel bad for my dad, even though
How much is he paying for
I
your degree?
got £13,000.
£13,000.
Yeah,
For how long? Per year?
yeah,
That's a lot of money.
yeah. I'm hoping.
£13,000 per year. Yes, that's about 19,000. What I used to pay dollars myself
Yeah,
for
I
school.
mean,
So it's about
I'm
the
pretty
same.
sure dollars is quite. Pounds is heavier than dollars.
Yes, that's right.
currently,
Yeah. So
even.
13,000, 19. Yeah. So it's like $20,000 a year.
Yeah, and
Compared to £30.
that's the worst part. I'm just the second son. I've got an older brother. So yeah,
They're
for
gonna have
those-
to pay through their nose. The more children you have, the more expenses you have, isn't it?
Don't make me feel bad for him for more.
And he'll be proud of it anyway. He values education. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I think we're done. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed that interview with. Can you say your name?
Faiz Mahi.
And about the colleges and how to get into university and diplomas and things like that. What are the requirements? High school.
Yeah.
With high school, you can come and do a diploma, very very cheap over here. Yeah, and actually get a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with your job, then you can pay for your degree, isn't it? Yeah. What's happening is that many countries in Africa, they're not really prioritizing education anymore, and they're making it very, very expensive. So many families have to sell land and they have to sell things, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, what we can say is that education is still important, right? Okay, guys, remember to study. We're only here because we studied. Yeah, so study. Education, I mean, even Africans valued education and still value education, you know? So there's nothing like saying that we don't need education, that it's not going to make us money, is it?
Nah, dumb people can't make money.
Dumb people cannot make money. You heard it from him.
Nah.
Okay, guys. Kwaherini. Bye. How do you say bye in your language?
Sanjama.
Sanjama. Bye.